Live in Washington, D.C., RSN News. Here, interviewing the President of the United States is Peter Clemens for NRS News. Mr. President, it's good to see you today. Good to see you. Mr. President, we have our concerns about the NAFTA agreement. We understand that it's been signed by you. I understand it's also been signed by the President of Mexico and Prime Minister of Canada. What is your next steps regarding that? Well, I think what's going to take place is more involvement in this hemisphere. We've been omitting it for far too long. It's become a huge problem, and we need to have free trade. Well, there's some say that it doesn't protect labor unions. Some say that the environmental legislations are too tough. I reached as far across the aisle as I possibly could. I was joined by quite a cadre of people. Former President George H.W. Bush, also President Jimmy Carter, President Ronald Reagan, Secretary of Health and Human Services Donna Shalala, Secretary of Commerce Ron Brown, Carol Browner from EPA, the Interior, Bob Rubin. We all reached across the aisle, and people are just going to have to respect the fact that NAFTA is the law of the land now. It's accepted treaty, and we cannot go back on it. Mr. President, I understand that you are going to be submitting a whole new slew of legislation beginning in January. The first one is health care. Now, there are many people saying that they doubt that health care will make it out of committee by spring. People can say that all they want. There's no doubt there's some conservatives that are going to oppose this legislation. But if you look across the aisle, Truman wanted this type of health care coverage. Nixon, I've spoken to Vice President Nixon, he's wanted this type of health care coverage. And so to that end, that's why we have done investigations. The commission has released its findings, and therefore at some point mid to late January we are going to submit health care to Congress. Even though, sir, it may not be pivotal to make it through the spring. We can't say that. We can't predict that. It could very well pass. We do have a majority in Congress, believe it or not. And we can build bipartisan support so much as the Republicans are willing to reach across the aisle and roll up their sleeves and help. We have a health care crisis. There are some that are saying that you're rationing care. We're already rationing care. This helps manage it, taking better course towards it. Mr. President, I turn next to the crime bill. Now, I understand that some in your party have already voiced opposition to some of the higher incarceration rates and tougher penalties. These people have not kept an eye on statistics. In the 1970s and 1980s times, governors and people have said that the prisons were overcrowded. Let the people go and you have repeat offenders. The American people are sick of crime. And so that's why that's very important to look at that. But, Mr. President, some people are concerned that your crime bill could have the same fate as health care, not survive a committee in the spring. I think the crime bill is going to take a little bit more consideration. I think it has a little bit more bipartisan support than health care. And so to that end, that's why I stand for the crime bill. Now, health care, I'll be honest with you, Hillary has set up her commission. We have toured the country. We have gotten the voice and the will and the wish of the American people, and we stand on that will and wish of the American people. President, there are rumors that you have been carrying on some sort of affair with Marky Post. You care to comment on that? No comment. No comment on that. Whoever told you is probably the tabloid trash. Some close to the actress have said that you had. Maybe some of those need to have a closer evaluation as to how they view their lives. They shouldn't punish someone's moral credibility on accusations that they can't prove. Thank you, Mr. President. We hope you'll find this helpful. On behalf of all in NRS, we hope you've enjoyed this. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.